you'll be able to pull various nuggets from it that will sharpen your own perspective, because you never know where you would end up. So I often give this story. In a former employment, I had the task of writing an evaluation on 37 guys. There was a particular assignment given. I had 21 days to complete the assignment, but I had a team of 37 persons to work with me. At the end of the time period allotted, I had not completed the assignment, and I was told by my superior at the time that I had to write him a report as to why the assignment was not completed. Man, I sat down, and in those days, because I am pretty old, don't look at me like this, it was the typewriter. Anybody knows about the typewriter? So if you made a mistake, right, it was trouble. You have to white it out and say it was typed. And I produced a 6-page report on the state of the project and on why we hadn't achieved our objectives. I was proud to hand it in on time the Thursday afternoon, because I was averaging that by the Monday, the superior will speak with me about the report. Monday morning came, he said nothing to me. Monday midday, I left for lunch and came back, he said nothing to me. Tuesday came, nothing. Wednesday came, nothing. But I'm seeing these 37 guys that I wrote up about in the report going along their way happily, because my report was designed to suggest that the project failed because of them. I couldn't bear it anymore the Thursday midday, and I walked into his office and I said, Dr. Davis, you know, I am a little concerned that I submitted my report on the soil sampling study, etc. He said, oh, and I said, but you didn't have it, you didn't boldly written. And it went like this: he who knows not and knows not that he knows not, shun him. And the second line was, he who knows not and knows that he knows not, embrace him. He's a friend. You want me to repeat it again? It was, he who knows not and knows not that he knows not, shun him. And the second line was, he who knows not and knows that he knows not, embrace him. He's a friend. Now, what in the world that had to do with the report I wrote? And then he sat me down and he said 3 things that I'll always remember, that I even challenged while we were discussing. He says, 1, you appear bright. Now, this is my boss talking to me, though, in what I thought that I was the best fit for the job. He says, you are young and you appear bright. But there are people here who have done this thing before that you could have spoken to get advice on how to best execute this project efficiently. But you chose to speak to no one. That was okay. The second thing he said to me, he said, you appear bright, but you need to learn to work with people. He said, all throughout your report, you blamed the 37 guys that you were given in the 5 teams, but you never said what were your shortcomings and your limitations. Learn to work with people. And finally, he said, the other thing I want to tell you is that whenever you write an evaluation, what Peter says about Paul sometimes speaks more about Peter than about Paul. You could imagine your boss telling you that? Young man like me, and how shattering that was to be. But I learned some significant lessons. Truly, it's good to talk and listen to the experience. And that's why you're here, to listen to Dr. Cumberbatch as she shares with us from her repertoire of knowledge. Listen to the experience sometimes. You don't have to agree with everything said. 2, learn truly to work with people, because they are your greatest assets in any sphere of activity. And finally, whether or not we embrace it, we must understand that it is not all. We have a role to play with the people's performance in organizations that we lead. So may God bless you. May you be enriched from this encounter today. And may we all be better leaders in the society of the Caribbean and the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. God's blessings, and I hope you have a happy workshop.
And now I will sing. We're pilgrims on the journey of the narrow road, and those who've gone before us line the way, cheering on the faithful, encouraging the weary. Their lives a stirring testament to God's sustaining grace. Surrounded by so great a crowd of witnesses, let us run the race not only for the prize, but as those who've gone before us. Let us leave to those behind us a heritage of faithfulness brought on through godly lives. Oh, may all who come behind us find us faithful. May the fire of our devotion light their way. May the footprints that we leave lead them to believe, and the lives we live inspire them to obey. Oh, may all who come behind us find us faithful. And after all our hopes and dreams have come and gone, and our children sift through all we've left behind, may the clues that they discover and the memories they uncover become the light that leads them to a road we each must find. Oh, may all who come behind us find us faithful. May the fire of our devotion light their way, and may the footprints that we leave lead them to believe, and the lives we live inspire them to obey. Oh, may all who come behind find us faithful. May the fire of our devotion light
Amen. That was a very wonderful reminder and some good information through that song. And we thank Pastor LaFleur for his introduction and explanation of this program. We are about to get into our icebreaker. So I know that Miss USC, she passed around and placed some slips of paper on some tables. So she's going to explain how our icebreaker is going to go.
Okay, so all the tables with papers, just if you have a paper on your table, just raise your hand, please. Yeah. Okay, so how are we going to go? This table and this front table, you're going to join together to discuss the paper. The other hands, I know this back table has one, so you're going to join with the table just in front of you. Your table have one? Your table have one? No, so yes, so you all join in. You all have one, but the center doesn't have, am I right? You all don't have one? Okay, so the two of you all join in. I've been clear so far? Yes? Okay, so you all have one, and you all have one. So this table will join with this back table. At the back there, this table joining with the front here. The center table with Hansel joining with the front. Wait, you all have one? And you all have one? Okay, so yes, because that's the bigger ones. So these three tables there have by yourselves, table back, table here, just here, these two, these two, these two, and then these two. We got that? Okay, so I'm going to give you all 5-6 minutes to come together, discuss the scenario given, and you're going to come up with your solution with your answer as a leader. You know, our topic is social, it's not there anymore, anyways, but social leadership. So you all have social issues, problems that may arise, actually come about, and you're going to get 5-6 minutes to come together and come with an answer, and you will have two persons to present, one to read and one to give the answer from the group. You can write it down if needs be. Okay? Thank you.
you have uno minuto. Let's say minute in Spanish. I'll say uno minute in Spanish. Let's say minute in Spanish. Uno is one. Yeah, minuto. Uno minuto. Dos minutos. Then you have to put the S for minutes.
Yo, why you different want to take out the whole thing? I don't want to take
I
out
don't
the
know
whole
why
thing.
it's got. Don't piss me off.
Just like minutos.
Minutos. Dos minutos. Oh, 2 more minutes, you mean? No, say I tell them uno minuto to present. All right, so you have 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. The batteries as well, I switch it out, but they don't admit it there yet. So.
Why do you not this good?
Uno minuto. You take it out, put it over separately.
Okay, and that's time, guys. Thank you very much. So we're going to go straight into it, and we're going to call whoever had number 1. No. Number 1, we have 1 minute. 1 more minute. Okay, 1 more minute. Wrap up, guys. Okay. So number 1, are you ready? 2 people. So we're going to, and remember, this is a leadership workshop, so we're going to present like leaders. Okay, guys? Make it interactive, make it fun, but make your point. Let's all give number 1 our attention, please.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So our question is the ethical dilemma. A company has a chance to increase profits by outsourcing labor to a country with lower wages but poor working conditions. As a leader, do you make the decision based on the company's bottom line or ensuring ethical treatment of workers?
Okay, so we approach this dilemma I'll just give it by 2 examples, by ethical principles and cooperative social responsibility. So we consider the ethical obligation to treat workers fairly and responsibly. This includes ensuring that they work in safe conditions and receive their fair wages. And 2, many companies today are expected to uphold certain standards regarding worker treatment, even when operating in countries with less strategic labor laws. Corporate social responsibility can enhance the company's reputation and attract ethical, conscious consumers.
Nice, thank you very much. I think they sound very intellectual, you know, sound like a university student. That's right. We'll take group number 2. Group number 2. That's, I thought I had to say it in Spanish. I can, you know. Grupo número 2.
Good morning, everyone. We are group 2, and Yale would read our question, well, our prompt for us.
The environment versus progress. You're leading a team in a city planning project. The development plan will boost the economy, but it will also harm local wildlife and ecosystems. How do you balance progress with the environmental responsibility?
All right, so our group, we discussed some ways that we could establish that balance. When we heard city planning, it was a bit vague, so we decided to think of building a structure within the city as our main focus point. And we decided to think about the type of materials that you would use to build the structure in the city, also the way that you dispose of your waste to help prevent harm of the natural ecosystem. And then I did a quick ChatGPT search to find an example of the the way a building in the world that makes use of those environmental practices while also, maintaining that balance. And a great example of that, just hold this for me. Yeah, I'm trying to show you guys. I don't know if everyone would see, but the Edge in Amsterdam is a building that makes use of those principles. I don't think you guys will be able to see too well, but right. Okay, so this is what the Edge looks like. It's a net zero building. I can't remember the other stuff, but it basically makes use of a lot of those principles that maintain balance within the ecosystem while also boosting economy, which was one of the factors in our prompt. All right, thank you guys.
Okay, very lovely. So we all agree. We have any combats, any other inputs on that prompt? No? It was a good answer, right? Nice. Okay, so on to group number 3. Yeah, I love it. Yes.
Good day. So, the unfair distribution. In your organization, a recent promotion was given to a less experienced employee, leaving more qualified staff overlooked. How do you address this situation without alienating either group?
Hi, it's feeling nervous. All right, so when I saw that question, I automatically think of like a day-to-day situation that any person would have seen or went through. So to me, giving it short to the point, a qualified person or persons could have your master's, Ph.D., whatever, but your attitude may not speak towards portraying as a good leadership. You may be boastful, you may have too much pride. The interviewer might question you just to test your knowledge, but you answer the question, well, you answer the question correctly, but it's not what they wanted. You fail right there. And you don't have a good leadership relationship with those around you. So that could have just automatically put that qualified person at the inferior to the less qualified person who is more up there, who had that attitude, that good leadership style, everything that could show that, hey, you could be a good leader, you could lead my team, that kind of way. So that's what I thought about the question, just simply as you don't have to have everything. You don't have to have a PhD. You don't have to have your master's to be a good leader. You don't have to have education is important, yes, but knowing the personality that you have for yourself, knowing the relationship you have with your friends or your colleagues or whatever, that shows that you're a good leader, and that helps you to build others who may be inspired to become a good leader as well.
You're also energetic. Love that. Great. Any additional point you want to throw in? Any comebacks to what they said, or they did very well? They did good, right? Yeah. You're also energetic. Right. We're going to go to group number 4. I was going to say it in French, but I don't know how to say it in French. Ethan, how do I say group number 4 in French? He said it.
Okay, so for group 4, we had cultural sensitivity. So you are managing a global team and receive feedback from a member in a different country that your recent decisions seem culturally insensitive. How do you respond to ensure respect and inclusivity while maintaining your leadership role? So an example of such a situation is scheduling a mandatory team meeting during a significant cultural holiday that some team members observe.
Good morning, everybody. As the ambassador, I would firstly respond by expressing my sincere gratitude for the feedback. I value open communication and willingness to share these concerns, which is vital for growth as a team. I would want to understand better where my actions have fallen short, and to do this, I'll be seeking input and asking questions to ensure that we address any underlying concerns to avoid issues like this in the future. Also, engaging actively with dialogues, incorporating more diverse viewpoints, and expanding my own understanding of cultural norms and practices. Moreover, I believe appointing cultural ambassadors will be great assistance, as it can provide input in cultural matters related to the team's work and interactions. Also, moving forward, my goal would be to lead with greater inclusivity, ensuring that every member feels respected and valued. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, group number 4. Any other inputs we want to add to that? No? Okay, great. So that was just perfect. So group number 5 now. Yay! Yay!
Take it easy, boy. Good morning. So we had a scenario on resource allocation. So your team has a limited budget for a project, and there's a debate about whether to invest more into staff well-being or product development. How do you prioritize resources in a way that balances both business and social responsibility? So our solutions were to assess the needs of the business in terms of productivity, see what needs to be acquired in terms of equipment, and then to also have a dialogue or conversation with your staff to see what's bothering them and what you could get in terms of equipment as well to make their lives easier. So for example, if you need a new printer, because the printer is always jamming and it's making them frustrated and making work slower. I feel like you're not understanding me. But it makes work slower. So by getting a new printer, you're boosting morale because staff can now work quicker, and then you're also boosting productivity because the printer is working good.
Thank you very much. Now, I did my homework to see this. We'll take group numéro 6. That's group number 6 in French. Yes, thank you very much. I just did my homework there. I went by Ethan. You didn't see when I went by him? Yeah, we'll take group number 6.
Good morning, everyone. So we have the employee health crisis. A team member reveals that they are struggling with mental health issues. They are afraid to take time off because of the impact it may have on the team's performance. As a leader, how do you support them while also keeping the team's goal on track?
Hello, everybody. Sorry, I'm cold, so I'm shaking. However, To answer this question, as a team leader, sometimes you have skills that may be a little difficult for others, and you have decisions that you need to make that might be a little difficult for others as well. However, in this scenario, we're talking about somebody that is struggling with mental health. And as we know in this day and age, it's something that is very hard to deal with. It might be something that might be very scary sometimes. And depending on the stage or the level of help that you think that this person needs, sometimes your skill set might be able to help them. Not all the time when we hear about mental health, we have to say, oh, this person mad, Saint Anne's. No. Sometimes, something as a simple conversation, something as experience or what we do in here, skills, could help this person to go from that state of where they want to jump off a river to saying, maybe this isn't so bad. Maybe if I get help and maybe if I talk to others, it might help. But that could only happen if you as a leader know how to deal with this, how to get to this person. What are they going through specifically? How do I pinpoint what is going on? And in order to do that, it might be from experience, as I said. It could be from knowledge. It could be from skills like we're learning today. In this specific case, if you think what they are going through, if they are willing to open up to you, you cannot deal with, something as simple as talking to them about areas or places they can go to receive help, whether it's free or they need to pay. Talking and making sure that you can help them, you encourage them. If you continue and you don't get any help, the team might struggle, but it's up to us. It's called a team for a reason. Sometimes everybody is not able to pull their weight. And as the leader, that is your job to make sure, I know who is best for this. I know who I could go and ask to chip in. I know what I can do apart from my job. It's all about understanding and helping others when you know that they need help. Thank you.
All right, great. Thank you very much. I think we are getting some very good information, and they are doing well. The groups are doing well. I see that a lot of thinking went into and consulting went into your discussions. What number we just did? 6, right? Yeah, we're going to do number 7. I don't know to say that in any other language, but yeah, we're going to do number 7.
Good morning. We are number 7 on our prompt are diversity and inclusion. You notice that a team discussion consistently excludes certain voices, particularly from underrepresented groups. How do you address this situation and ensure that every team member feels heard and valued?
Good morning. So our team, to solve this issue, decided that the first thing that you should do to address the situation is to find out if there's a particular reason for the exclusion, like determine any exclusionary patterns or tactics that may be directly affecting the underrepresented groups, and apply a SWOT analysis to the group, which my group will explain.
Okay, so for the SWOT analysis, it's the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats. So in each group, everyone may not have the same strength. So quick show of hands for all the extroverts. A quick show of hands for all the introverts. Okay, a quick show of hands for the researchers. And a quick show of hands for the ones who love to speak. Okay, so the researcher may be able to help the one who likes to speak. So every group, you have different personalities, they have different individual characteristics that may align with each other. That may align with each other to help each other bring their best out. Remember, we're all leaders, we're only here We're all leaders, and we're here to help each other bring out our leadership qualities. And this is our group. Thank you.
Okay. Now, while I'm here, we do have 2 more groups left, but I am seeing a few unfamiliar faces. So, all from main campus, raise your hands. Main campus, okay. Okay, nice. Thank you. And all from South Campus? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so let's say welcome to our South Campus people. Welcome, guys. And while we are here, we are at a leadership workshop program, and well, we do have some future leaders among us. So I'd like to ask all the POE delegates to stand. Please stand. These are our future school leaders, academic leaders. So let's give them a round of applause. Okay, so for those who might not know, Portraits of Excellence, POE, that's what it stands for. It's our scholarship leadership program here at USC. So these lovely delegates are all learning how to build their leadership skills, being here as one of them, learning how to be more academically informed, more everything, all rounded, you know. So this is what our scholarship program is all about, and we are also products of this scholarship program. So, you know, let's just give them a round of applause for helping themselves and for helping us as well to read this. Thank you very much, delegates. So I believe we are now in Group 8. Group 8? Oh, perfect.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rukaya, and this is Marquise, and we are representing Group 8. So the misleading market. A product is being marketed with exaggerating claims that could be seen as misleading. As the leader of the company, do you allow the marketing campaign to go forward, or do you step in to ensure ethical advertising?
Good morning once again. So the position from the CEO through the board of directors, we would have sat and discussed. So we would have looked at a couple things. One, initially, we would have said, okay, if it was misleading, this would up our sales, profit margins go below high, we will make the money. However, as the board continued to discuss, we would have noticed that we would have run into legal ramifications. We would have had, it would have been ethically wrong, we would have lost customers in the long run. Our brand identity would have also diminished as it relates to sustainable growth of the company. That as well would have diminished. So as it relates to the board, we had decided that we would have called in the marketing team to have a conversation about them about ethical practices as it relates to business and sustainability. We would have discussed with them that even though we as a company would put ethical practice over profitability in the long run, because we believe that you are only as good as your behavior, and you are only as good for what you put out. So even though, yes, profit margins would have looked good from an ethical standpoint, we would have decided that we would have, as they say, stand on business practically versus thinking about money. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And we'll just move on quickly to our last group, group number 9. Group number 9, great. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Nikita, and Ronmel will be representing Group 9, and we had the whistleblower. And the scenario states, an employee comes forward with a concern about unethical behavior happening within the company, but doing so could cost them their job. How do you handle the situation to protect the employee and address the wrongdoing?
Okay, so as leader of the company, I would be investigating the matter. Now, unethical behavior could manifest itself in a lot of ways, such as stealing. Maybe that person is stealing merchandise from the company. Also, there could be like issues of sexual harassment in the company. Then maybe also an accountant is giving false records. So I would look into the matter And then also there's the union. There are unions that are in place to seek to advocate on behalf of the employees in every company. And so I could always hand it over to a union officer who can also aid in protecting that person, that employee's identity, over the matter. So definitely I would, do whatever it takes to, look into the matter, and then after, if possible, fire that person as well. Yes.
Great. We would like to thank everyone for participating in our icebreaker and, having those little discussions. I think we all benefited, and it was wonderfully done.
Okay, so now we'll be hearing from Mr. Ronaldo Stobie, who will be giving us an instrumental, after which we will hear the introduction of our speaker and then our speaker, Dr. Helen Cumberbatch.
Say everything. Say life and breath. Don't talk to us. Everything to me. Say you're my peace. Everything to me. Say joy in sorrow. Everything to me. Say hope for tomorrow. Now y'all help us go down the list, everybody. Lift your voice real loud and say, Master. Redeemer. It was your shelter from the rain. Shelter. When money got funny, it was your provider. When you were stuck in your mess, it was your deliverer. When you were sick in your body, it was your healer. When your parents wasn't there, it was your father. Anybody had to live without their father? Say father. You didn't make it this far, no. He was your father. Hey, glory, glory. Let's call him Savior one more time. Savior. Now let's lift up the name of Jesus. Call him. The one that saved your soul, what's his name? The only one that was there when the smoke cleared, what's his name? When your friends turned on your back on you, he said, I'm not leaving. My grandma used to say, call him. We are not ashamed of it. I bow before the King. Bow before the King. At least bow your head, he's here. Bow before the King. Oh, Shikia Doubles. Bow before the King.
So I have the pleasure of introducing our feature presenter today. Our feature presenter is Dr. Helen Williams-Cumberbatch. Dr. Williams-Cumberbatch is an experienced educator and a motivational speaker. She holds the position of Vice President of Student Affairs at the College of Science, Technology, and Applied Arts of Trinidad and Tobago, COSTAT, where she previously held the positions of Director of Enrollment Management and Director of Marketing and Public Relations. A former Fulbright scholar, Dr. Cumberbatch holds a Ph.D. in Higher Education and Student Affairs from Ohio University, a master's degree in higher education from Capella University, and a bachelor's degree in management studies honors from the University of the West Indies, St. Augustine. Dr. Cumberbatch currently serves as the first vice president of the Association of Caribbean Higher Education Administrators, with chapters in Jamaica, Barbados, Guyana, Turks and Caicos, and Trinidad and Tobago. She's also an active member of the Fulbright Alumni Association of Trinidad and Tobago and was recently appointed as Deputy Chairman of the National Entrepreneurship Development Company Limited, NEDCO. An experienced speaker, Dr. Cumberbatch has engaged audiences in public, private, and education sectors, delivering speeches and presentations that inspire and motivate. As a former adjunct college lecturer, she taught courses in oral communication, presentation skills, and strategic public relations in Trinidad and Tobago. She also taught positive psychology in the United States of America, a theoretical framework that now serves as the foundation for her asset-based training interventions. A certified appreciative advisor, she currently conducts training in leadership, public speaking, and customer service, guided by the Appreciative Education Framework. Dr. Cumberbatch's work and research focus on creating access and opportunity for people from traditionally unserved populations and motivating individuals to achieve their full potential. Dr. Cumberbatch has presented her work at conferences in Jamaica, Barbados, and the USA. Her work has been published in the Journal of Transformative Education and the Commonwealth Business Publications. Welcome to our campus, Dr. Cumberbatch, and I certainly hope, well, I know this would not be your first and last visit here. You've been here before, but I hope that this continues to build a strategic partnership as we work for the development of young people in the tertiary education sector. Welcome, and may God continue to bless you. Welcome.
Thank you, Pastor. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so I've been asked, until they're able to address a technical issue, I've been asked to direct you to the wall at the back. So I think somebody's going to dim the lights so that you can see the presentation from the back until. And came to open in prayer and minister. I got to chat a little bit and was really impressed with the word that he shared, with the focus on servant leadership, which of course underpins the message that I'm going to be sharing with you today. So thank you all again for having me, and I'm really impressed with what I've seen in terms of even the icebreaker, the fact that it provoked such rich thought and strategic thinking, etc. You all are in a good space and well poised to be exceptional future leaders. So my bio was a little long. I did say that I was hoping that whoever introduced me would chop bits and pieces of it. But so you heard a bit about me professionally, but more than that, I think who I am personally is important to me, very important to me. And one of my most significant roles, I'll tell you just a little bit about myself, one of my most significant roles, apart from all that you've heard about professionally, and after my service as a servant of Christ really, is that of a mother. And so these are my children who are very near and dear to me. My son Chris, who's about to turn 31, my daughter Leah, who just turned 25. To me, this is the most important role I've served after serving Christ, really and truly. So I'm blessed to have them. And this is me in my happy space. So I'm a motivational speaker. So when I go to graduations, graduation time is my time. So that's me at Woodbrook Sec, which is my alma mater. So I gave a lot of trouble. I fought. I carried on. I was a terrible student. And now I'm going to address the students at graduation. So that's a total 180 turn for me. And this is me at an award ceremony for the Ministry of Youth Development. And these are two other graduations that I did this year: Cedar Grove Private School in South and St. Ursula's Anglican in Port of Spain. So this is just me in my happy place when I go to talk, motivate, inspire young people. So I just thought I'd share a little bit about that. I'm not going to do the icebreaker because you all had a really fabulous icebreaker. So I'm going to go into our conversation about my journey to leadership, just to give you a little insight. Many of you here are already in leadership positions, exploring the opportunities that are presented to you here at university and probably considering your next steps as leaders. For me, I started off professionally as a secretary. So I wanted to be a teacher. That's all I ever wanted to do. Struggled with math. Got a skip in primary school from 3 to 5, and then I took a nosedive, struggled with math, and UE and university was a distant reality for me until I was like in my late 20s, and I got to UE. And so I started off professionally working at Parliament in 1990. I was 18 years old, and just after the coup, I went to work there as a secretary, worked for a few years, and then I transitioned to Nehurst also as a secretary. And COSTAT was established coming out of Nehurst. And so I've been at COSTAT ever since we were established in the year 2000. And I started at COSTAT as a secretary, what was called back then a stenographer, clerk stenographer. And an opportunity came up. The then interim president asked if I would come across to COSTAT from Nehurst to start our marketing department. There was no marketing department. And so I went across single-handedly, no pay increase. I was getting a little acting allowance, which had to go away, and so I went across and took the risk and set up the department, worked there alone for a year. But what I didn't get financially, I certainly got in terms of experience and growth and development, etc. And so I moved from one position to the next at COSTAT, from secretary to marketing assistant, then officer, then coordinator, then director marketing, director enrollment management, and now I hold the position of vice president, student affairs. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey for me for the past 24 years at COSTAT. I took a break in 2016 when I got the Fulbright. I went to Ohio with my daughter in tow. My son was already at university in the US. And I went to do the Ph.D. So I took 4 years, 3.5 years to do the program. And then COVID happened a month after I was done. And so I was stuck out of Trinidad for another year. And so here I am, back at COSTAT, back home, doing what I love. So thank you so much. So that's a bit about my leadership journey. Thank you. So I want to talk about your motivation. What's your motivation? And I just want to ask a few of you, why do you want to be in leadership? And I'm going to be picking on some folks if people don't randomly. Just give me an idea of what inspires you. Why do you want to lead? And you're looking at me, the young lady here in green. She says she wants to lead to effect positive change. Somebody else, tell me why you want to lead. The young lady right here, yes. Why do you want to lead? Yes, you. With the pink clip at the back, yes. You want me to bring the mic? Oh, okay. To have a positive influence, yeah? Okay. On others, to have a positive influence, to effect positive change. Let me ask somebody across here. Let me ask a young man. Why do you want to be in a leadership position?